For a long time, dancehall was the king of the Caribbean and African party scenes in Toronto. The rhythms, the bass, the raw energy, dancehall was the heartbeat of every club night, every basement jam, and every summer block party. You couldn't go anywhere in the city without hearing Vybz Kartel, Mavado, or Sean Paul blasting from someone's speaker. For years, dancehall set the tone for what it meant to party in Toronto. But something happened. Slowly, steadily, and then all at once, Afrobeats took over. Now, in 2025, it's clear Afrobeats didn't just join the conversation. It overtook it. Today, you'll hear more Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Asake in Toronto clubs than you will dancehall. And the question is, why? Why did Afrobeats grow faster, connect deeper, and eventually dominate a city where dancehall had already been so deeply rooted? It starts with identity. Toronto has always been a city of immigrants, a blend of Africans, Caribbeans, and Canadians all sharing spaces, cultures, and sounds. For decades, dancehall was the unifying sound between these communities. It had rhythm, it had energy, and it spoke to the diaspora experience. But when Afrobeats started rising in global popularity, Africans in Toronto saw something they had been missing: music that reflected their own stories, languages, and vibes. Afrobeats didn't compete with dancehall, it filled a gap. It gave Africans a sound that was unapologetically theirs, a rhythm that spoke of home instead of just escape. And once it hit, it connected instantly. Unlike dancehall, which had already matured and settled into its lane, Afrobeats came in fresh, colorful, and full of possibilities. It was melodic, danceable, and easy to blend with other genres. DJs could move seamlessly from hip-hop to Afrobeats, from R&B to Amapiano, without breaking the crowd's energy. Toronto DJs noticed that. Promoters noticed too. Afrobeats events drew diverse crowds, not just Africans, but Caribbeans, Latinos, and Canadians curious about the sound. The inclusiveness of Afrobeats was one of its secret weapons. Dancehall, as loved as it was, had built a loyal but niche following. Afrobeats, on the other hand, invited everyone to the table. You didn't have to understand Yoruba, Twi, or Pidgin to feel the groove. The beats spoke for themselves. There's also something to be said about timing. When Afrobeats started gaining traction internationally, social media was booming. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube turned music into a global language overnight. Songs like Ye by Burna Boy, Essence by Wizkid and Tems, and Fall by Davido became viral sensations. People weren't just listening, they were dancing, making challenges, and sharing them worldwide. Toronto, being one of the most globally connected cities in North America, caught that wave immediately. Dancehall didn't have that same viral moment in the modern era. Its biggest hits came before the social media age, during the time when you had to go to a club or tune into a radio show to hear them. By the time TikTok arrived, Afrobeats had already positioned itself as the global sound of joy, movement, and unity. Another major reason Afrobeats grew faster is its versatility. Dancehall has a distinct style, raw, rhythmic, powerful, but also specific. Afrobeats, in contrast, can take on different moods. It can be romantic, reflective, or high energy. You can listen to Asake in the club, Burna Boy on a late-night drive, and Tems when you're winding down. That emotional range helped Afrobeats reach people in more ways than just dance. Culturally, Afrobeats also brought something new: pride. African pride. It made being African cool. That's not something dancehall ever had to focus on, because it already carried the Jamaican flag proudly for decades. But for Africans, especially those raised abroad, Afrobeats became a way to reclaim their culture publicly. It allowed them to express themselves without having to filter their heritage. That wave of pride was contagious. Even Caribbeans and Canadians embraced it because the energy was impossible to ignore. In Toronto, you could feel that change in real time. Go back to the early 2010s, every club night had a dancehall segment. By the late 2010s, DJs were mixing more Afrobeats into their sets. By 2020, the tables had turned completely. Afrobeats was no longer a break between genres, it was the main course. Part of what made the transition smooth was the chemistry between the two cultures. Africans and Caribbeans have always shared similar vibes: rhythm, dance, community. The move from dancehall to Afrobeats wasn't a cultural rivalry, it was evolution. The same energy that used to make people bruck out to Vybz Kartel now makes them lose themselves to Rema or Kiz Daniel. And then there's the global factor. Afrobeats became Africa's biggest export, with artists selling out arenas across Europe, the US, and Canada. When Toronto started hosting massive concerts, Wizkid at History, Burna Boy at Budweiser Stage, Davido at Rebel, it became impossible to deny the genre's influence. Each show was more than a concert, it was a celebration of heritage. The same crowd that once filled dancehall events started showing up in droves for Afrobeat stars. Promoters also saw the business side. Afrobeat crowds spent money. They dressed up. They showed out. Brands started paying attention, partnerships started forming, and venues started competing to host the biggest Afrobeats nights. Economically, it just made more sense. Afrobeats was not only attracting Africans, it was pulling everyone in. And then came Amapiano, which blended beautifully with Afrobeats and helped it grow even further. That smooth mix of deep house and African rhythm appealed to the same people who loved dancehall's groove but wanted something fresher. The transition wasn't about replacing one culture with another. It was about the natural evolution of sound and identity. If you look deeper, Afrobeats' growth also reflects how young people connect with authenticity. Hip-hop once represented that for the diaspora. Dancehall did too. But in the 2020s, Afrobeat became the soundtrack for a new generation, one that wanted to see Africa on the world stage, not as a follower, but as a leader. Today in Toronto, it's not uncommon for an Afrobeats DJ to play a full set without touching a single dancehall song, and the crowd will still go wild. That's not disrespect, it's simply where the culture is now. Afrobeats is global. It's fashionable. It's emotional. It's everything you want in a sound that makes you move and feel proud at the same time. But make no mistake, the two genres still coexist beautifully. In fact, dancehall helped lay the groundwork for Afrobeat's success. The Caribbean community in Toronto created the party infrastructure that Afrobeats later plugged into. The sound systems, the dance styles, the community hubs, all of that was already here thanks to dancehall. Afrobeats just arrived and added a new flavor to the mix. In many ways, Afrobeats is like the younger cousin that learned from dancehall and took it global. The respect is mutual, and the connection remains strong. But if you're talking about momentum, about which genre grew faster, reached further, and united more people, there's no question. Afrobeats won that race. Walk into any club in downtown Toronto this weekend, and you'll see it. The lights will dim, the crowd will cheer, and when that first Afrobeats bass line drops, maybe Asaki, maybe Rema, maybe Davido, the room will erupt. It's not just sound, it's identity, rhythm, and joy colliding in one moment. Afrobeats didn't grow faster by chance. It grew because it spoke directly to people's souls. It reminded Africans of who they are, invited others to join in, and created a global party where everyone was welcome. So next time you hear a DJ transition from a dancehall rhythm to an Afrobeats groove, just know, you're not hearing one culture replace another. You're hearing evolution. You're hearing the story of how the motherland found her voice again and shared it with the world. Toronto was one of the first cities to witness it, to nurture it, and to celebrate it. And that's why, even today, when the beat drops in this city, it's Afrobeats that moves the crowd. Thanks for watching. If you felt that energy, if you've ever danced your heart out at an Afrobeats party in Toronto, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the culture. Because this is more than music, this is movement.